Litecoin and Bitcoin targets. What's up, guys? Crypto Savvy here. Hope everyone's having a good weekend. Today we're going to take a look at Litecoin and Bitcoin and look at where the price might be headed. First of all, we're going to take a look at Litecoin. We're going to take a look at the bearish and then the bullish scenario. And then we're going to take a look at Bitcoin, the bullish and the bearish scenario. After that, if you stick around to the end of the video, I'm going to show you why I think that the bottom could be in. I'm going to show you some charts that I think are very interesting and that it is possible that we start a bull run soon. I'm not saying that's going to happen for sure, but I'm going to say there is a possibility. So stick around.
1, 2, 3,
All right, guys. First of all, I want to thank everybody that has subscribed to the channel. We've reached over 500 subscribers. I appreciate it. I couldn't do it without you guys. And we're going to get into the Litecoin chart. And first of all, before I begin, as always, I want to start out by saying I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is my opinion and my view of the market only. Anybody that's doing any investing or any trading in this market, I suggest you do your own due diligence and your own research, as this market can be extremely volatile and risky. And with that being said, if you're new here or you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button in the lower right hand side of the screen. That'll get you subscribed. Then you can tick the little notification bell to get you notified when I post new videos. And if you would, guys, I'd appreciate it if you give it a giant thumbs up if you like the content, and leave your comments. Let me know what you think at the bottom. Appreciate it, guys. So with that being said, let's get into the charts. This is a 4-hour Litecoin that we're looking at, and I am going to get into just showing you how I got my targets, where I have my targets, and then we're going to move on to the end of the video where I'm going to show you why I believe that the bottom could be in. So let's take a look at the bearish scenario first. And taking a look at the bearish scenario, as you can see here, it looks like we could possibly be forming a bear flag. So we would do a measured move off of the flagpole of the bear flag and bring it to where we would possibly break out. And that brings us right to the $36 to $37 range, which would be the bottom of this channel. Now, if we were to continue lower after that, we would measure, if we were to break through the bottom of the channel, we would measure the whole channel and then go to where we would break out of the channel. And that would bring us right into the double bottom range. So I'm going to put a target there. And guys, I'm looking more towards the bullish scenario because there is more analysis pointing up than there is pointing down. And guys, I like to keep it simple using trend lines, support and resistance, my RSI, EMAs, and Fibonacci. I do not use a bunch of different indicators. To me, that's just a bunch of noise. So anyway, with that being said, looking at the lower target here would bring us to right around, like I said, close to the double bottom. We're going to look at the 2385 range. Now, again, like I said, we need to always be open to the market going either way. But I am looking bullish here, and now I'm going to look at my bullish targets. And also after that, we're going to go into the RSI real quick. And as you guys know, I like to track the price in the RSI also. So here we are right now with where we're at, and I'm going to show you how I got my 5604 target first. And I would get that by measuring this flagpole here from the breakout of this bull flag here, and then we bring it to the top of the bull flag, and that gets us right to our $56 range, which also is old resistance over here. So that is where I get the $56 range. Now I'm going to move this down here, and we're going to do a measured move off of the breakout of the channel. And if we were to break out here, that's where I get the 64. Let's see here. We'll measure that channel again. Yeah, so that's where I get the $64 range, is from if we were to break out of this channel. That brings me right up to the $64 range. Now, the 60.50, we'll take a look at how I got that one, and that is assuming that this right here is Adam and Eve, and this would be the neckline of the Adam and Eve right around the 41.32 range. Excuse me, guys. So what we would do to get that measurement, we would measure from here down to here, the tip of the Adam, and then we would bring it up to the neckline, the breakout, and that gets me to my next target as the 60.50 range, $60.50 range, which would also line up with old resistance, old support, and old resistance. So that's where I'm at with that, guys. I'm going to go into, let me get rid of this real quick, and I'm going to go into the RSI that I've been tracking. And as you can see in the 4 hour, I've had this symmetrical triangle drawn for quite some time now. And we broke down through, and I said we should come up and test it and possibly break through, which we have. And we tested the top of it for support, came back down to, or top of it for resistance, came back down, test the bottom of it for support. And now we're working back up to test the top for resistance again. And I believe it's possible that we break up through it. And like I said, I am bullish right now. That is where I stand. Here is the daily RSI, and as you can see, we've gotten resistance, resistance, support, support, and support, and we're breaking up. That's why I believe we're going bullish, and we're going to test the top of this one more time before coming back down. Now, that being said, those are my targets for Litecoin, guys. So I'm going to move on to Bitcoin. And remember to stick around to the end of the video, and I'm going to show you why I believe the bottom's in. And we're going to look at some charts that are looking good, as in saying the bottom's in. So, all right, on this one, I've drawn this falling wedge with 1 touch, 2 touches, 3 touches. And then this is the Bitcoin daily, by the way, guys. So, and 1 touch here, 2 touches, and then next to it 3 touches. That's where I get the falling wedge from there. Now let's look into my targets for Bitcoin. And first, just like in Litecoin, we're going to take a look at the bearish scenarios first. And measuring, obviously this is a symmetrical triangle I have drawn that we've broken out of. We've came back down and tested for support, and so far we're getting support at it. So we're going to do a measured move looking at the bearish scenario, the widest point of the triangle. If we were to break down, and it would be somewhere in this area, and I'm lining it up with this support resistance line at 34.75, and that would bring us down right into this area, right into the between the 22 and $2,300 range, which would be this blue trend line that I've drawn here. But again, guys, let's look at the other bullish or bearish target that I have up here. And I get this one, I'll zoom in so you guys can see, by measuring the flagpole here. And that's assuming that this is a bear flag, guys. And if we were to break down somewhere in here, that would bring us down to the $3,250 to $3,300 range. And that would be breaking us out of the bottom of this symmetrical triangle. But first things first, guys, I'm looking at this to be support if we do break down, but if we break down past that, then my lower targets come in effect, obviously. But right now, I'm looking at this top of the symmetrical triangle to hold. And I'm also going to show you another formation that I'm keeping an eye on that could possibly be forming, and I'll show you that here in a few. First, we're going to look at our higher targets. And again, guys, I am more bullish than bearish here. I do see us reaching the higher targets. I'm going to get into the 4-hour to measure these out. And then we're going to take a look at the RSI as we did with Litecoin. So, all right. Looking at these targets here, the bullish targets. Now, this first target, the 4179, is where we've been getting resistance. We got resistance here, resistance here, resistance here, resistance here. I believe we've tested that so many times. This time, if we do test it, I do believe we're going to break through and break up to the, the $4,300 range. And I'm going to show you how I got these targets also. First off, this first target is because it's old resistance. And, like I said, the more we test resistance, like beating on it with a hammer, eventually you usually break through. The more times you touch it, the weaker it gets. So I do see us coming up to test the next target here at the 4368 area. And now I'm going to show you how I've gotten that area here. And measured move up to here. If we were to break out here, that would bring us up to the 4368 area, which is the top of this symmetrical triangle here, which would be our next resistance, which also would line up with the resistance of the falling wedge that I've had drawn here. So now I'm going to go up to the higher targets, because if we were to break through this white line, which is the falling wedge, then we have these two targets that I'm looking at. And the first one is the measured move off the symmetrical triangle, which we've broken up out of, in my opinion. And we've came back down to test for support, and we're getting support. So I'm going to take this to where the breakout was initially, which is right here. And that brings us to my $4,900 to $5,000 range target right here. Now, the other bullish target I have, the higher one here, is looking just like in Litecoin, looking at this possibility of the Adam and Eve. And our neckline for this Adam and Eve would be right around the 4180 range. So let's do a measured move off of the neckline there down to the bottom of the Adam. And then we bring it over and put it back on the neckline. And that gives me my $5,200 range. Now, guys, if we get that, we've broken out of the top of this falling wedge, which I believe would be extremely bullish. Now, another bullish sign that I'm seeing, and guys, that's why I'm bullish. I'm seeing more bullish signs than I am bearish signs. And I do believe that people believing that this is a bear flag or a bear pennant is, I'll explain here in a minute when I go into why I believe the bottom's in, and I'll give you my theory on that too. But I do want to show you guys this real quick. This could be, obviously it's not 100% yet, not drawn, but this here could be a reversal pattern, which would be the reversal diamond. And I'm just going to draw it out for you guys, and it's not going to be exact. I want to try to make this quick. I know this video has already went longer than I expected. So something like this, which a lot of times, and we can move this out to make it even. A lot of times they're not even, but I will move it out just. This could be a bullish pattern, which would be a diamond reversal. And usually, sometimes they'll wick out to be a bear trap and then shoot back up. Also, it could do the opposite and wick up, do a bull trap, and go down. But like I said, I do believe that's what would bring us up to test this 41.79 range. So, all right, guys, now we're going to look at the RSI, and then we're going to go into why I believe that the bottom is in, and it's very possible we could be starting a bull run soon. So, going into the 4-hour RSI first, I've drawn this bottom line here as I don't know how it moved, but I've drawn this bottom line as a channel also, which seemed to be getting support at, but it should be down here. I don't know what happened, but I'm not too concerned with that line. This is the line I'm really watching, which is a rising wedge. And we've broken through the bottom here, and I believe we come up to test it for support. And that should be around our that should be around right around this support area. I believe it'll bring us up to this 41.79 area. So, and if we break through, then obviously the higher targets that I was talking about up in this range, which would be the 5,000, 4,900 to the 5,200 range. And I'm going to go into the 1 day now, the daily, and take a look at that. And the same thing here. And we've talked about this before, guys, and we've been watching this for quite a while. Like we did over here in the daily candle, we popped out below like we are right now. But as long as it closes above by the end of the day, which we have a whole day ahead of us, we get back in here. And then I believe that we go up and test the top of this for support. And that's why I'm bullish here with all the targets. So, all right, guys. Now I'm going to look in and kind of show you why I think the bottom might be in. So let's get into, this is a more long-term chart with Bitcoin. And as you can see, I've drawn from the tip here, the white dotted line, the trend line, and then from the second high here all the way down, the same thing. And both of them come into where we had the drop off around 6,000. So before I zoom in, I'm going to show you the gold chart, which looks just the same. I've drawn the same lines, the yellow solid line from the second high, and then the all-time high with the white dotted line, and where they broke. Obviously, you can see I have a bottom trend line here, and when we broke out of this is what happened. And if you guys follow the markets, you know markets are human emotion, and that's, you know, the movement is all human emotion, and markets run in cycles. But this is the gold cycle, and obviously it's over a lot longer period of time. But if you think about it, today we have social media and easier access to buy and sell stocks, and just a lot faster society, a lot, you know, faster everything. So I believe, my theory is that that's, you know, what happened here took a lot, you know, a long time, because it was obviously a long time ago. People didn't have computers, whatnot, and what forth, until right around this area, you know, then everything started speeding up. So now if we look at Bitcoin and the resemblance there, obviously the bottom trend line here, I'm going to go back and show you the bottom of this where it broke out. As you can see, we broke out of this, the white dotted line, which was from the all-time high across the top here. You know, it took us a minute to break out. We broke out after touching this bottom trend line twice, and then a breakout. Once we broke out of this yellow line, it really took off. Now we go into Bitcoin. Gonna zoom in a little bit so you can see it's almost identical, guys, to where we broke out. The dotted line, as you can see, was resistance, broke through, and now we've broken through the yellow, and we've started to move up. Now that's not to say we don't come back down and test this around, you know, the $3,400 to $3,500 range. And if this does break, then obviously my prediction there is wrong, because if this breaks, our next support is down to the $2,200 range, which I have another trend line drawn out in this one. So, but if you guys remember, I said it's possible we get to the 5,200 range, which would be up in this area. And if we do get up in this area, I believe we break through the 200 EMA, and then that becomes support, and then we continue our trend up if we do get into a bull trend. I'm not saying that's guaranteed. This is just possibility, guys, and things I'm looking at. Now, one more thing I want to show you in this chart is, and obviously, like I showed you, we had 2 touches in gold. We have 2 touches in Bitcoin. Now I want to go into the RSI and just show you what I have drawn into the monthly RSI. And here we have the bear market, well, the bull market in 2013, and then we have the bull market top, the all-time high in 2013. And then what I have, if you guys can see it, I hope you can, is each low I've marked with an arrow, and there were 4 lows in this bear trend before we started the uptrend. And we've had 4 lows in this bear trend for the 2017 bull run. And then obviously the same thing, and then we, you know, started curving off up. Now, if we look at the timelines here, even each arrow, if we look at this one, this low here was in December 2013. Then we look at the low here, was in January 2018. We look at the low here, was in April 2014. We look at this second low here, was in March 2018. We look at the third low over here, would be October 2014. Third low over here, June 2018. The fourth low, January 2015. The fourth low, January 2019. Now, guys, if this does follow the same pattern, you know, we could be sideways till summertime and then start gradually moving up like we did over here. We were sideways from the last low to around August, and that would bring us right around this area here before we really started seeing some momentum up. Again, guys, this is just a different way to look at it. And my theory is, again, if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, tick the little bell, give it a thumbs up, leave your comments, guys. I'd appreciate it. But my theory is that with everybody waiting on this new low, there's a lot of money sitting on the sidelines. And if we do break up to that $5,200 range, I believe there's obviously going to be resistance there, maybe a pullback, and then popping back up. I think a lot of people are going to FOMO in, and that could create the next bull rally. So with that being said, guys, I appreciate you guys watching, and have a good day. Thanks.